Hello everyone, it's Amy here. I am part of the RCP community and work as a root cause protocol consultant myself. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with the delightful and very knowledgeable Dr. Catherine Mort. Do you mind if I call you CJ?
CJ all the way through.
That. I know you were CJ. So CJ is going to share with us her journey with the RCP, all the way from, I guess, the very humble beginnings, and she was very much there at the humble beginnings, to where she is now, both with her own health and also using the RCP in her own health practice. So hello, CJ.
Hey, Amy, thank you so much for this chat. Very excited about it.
Such a pleasure. So let's dive right in. Tell me how you came across the RCP, and why it was such an interest to you, and perhaps share what was going on with your own health at the time.
Well, it's been a blinking long journey, to be honest, and I probably represent the majority of people that find the RCP in that they've gone through the mill, they've gone round the houses, and they've seen loads and loads of different practitioners and doctors and consultants over many years, and that's kind of how my journey started. So ill health pretty much forever. I'm 43 now, and I can remember as young as 13, 14, being diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome and ME. And back in the day, that wasn't really a thing. Like you hear a lot about people having that now, but back then it was quite unusual. So yeah, always had really weird things going on, and lots of strep throat infections, which I know is very common with people on this journey, and just I think Morley was my 21st practitioner. I did count them at one point. So I was just literally going from one person to another, just trying to find out, what the hell was wrong with me? Why was I different to everybody else? Why wasn't I vibrant? Why did I just feel like rubbish all the time? Just didn't have any vitality, whatsoever. I just remember not being able to go to parties as a teenager and always having my plans scuppered because I was ill. Very frustrating. Yeah.
So what were some of the labels that you were sort of lumped with across your journey, seeing so many practitioners?
Oh, the classic ones. So chronic fatigue syndrome, ME, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is autoimmune thyroid disease, diabetes type 2, pyroluria, MTHFR. I'm sure there's more in there, but the standard ones that they throw at you. So yeah, I've been labelled all kinds.
Wow, yeah, and seeing so many practitioners, it's such a common story that I hear, and probably yourself with your own clients, how much they've been through before they've actually got to you, and often how many tens of thousands of dollars that people have spent on this journey to get to something that is quite free in the end, ironically, in the RCP.
That is an amazing point there, because getting well is expensive. Back in the day, now it's not. With the RCP, now we're using Mother Nature. It's affordable and available widely through food.
Yeah.
But the things that the other practitioners I was going to see were recommending, I think at my pinnacle of ridiculousness was almost £2,000 British pounds a month on supplements. Yes, and these were effectively killing me, and that was, yeah. I spent my life's savings money. Oh my God, everything I would earn would be spent on either going to see specialists or buying the next thing that they thought would work for me.
Yeah.
Awful, and obviously none of those addressed the root cause. So I didn't get better, and in fact, each thing made me 10 times worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm guessing they're all in the supplement graveyard now that we all seem to have, or as Morley would say, give them to the neighbour that you like the least.
Yes, I love that saying from Morley. And I couldn't quite bring myself to do that. So what I did was, I'm an all or nothing type of person, and I tend to attract clients very much the same. So the day that I found the RCP and realized what it was about and what I should be taking, I emptied my kitchen cupboards completely, and there was thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds worth of stuff in there, and I just threw it all in the bin. And I had a bit of a party send off to the supplements.
Wow.
And just let that go.
Good on you. And some of us need that transition period, but just to be able to let it all go and realize that we've got to get back to the root of it, which is food and whole food supplementation. That's a pretty cool thing that you did. Just start again. And so tell me about a bit about your journey with the RCP. How did you get started? Did you see a root cause protocol consultant yourself, or was there even any at that point?
No, there wasn't. So I found the RCP, or Morley really, in 2016. So I was with a practitioner who was treating me for pyroluria and for genetic SNPs. And I remember just sitting there, and she had the whole methylation pathway in front of me with what supplements we were going to take for what. And I just thought, it can't be this difficult. It surely can't. And at that time, I was taking very, very high dose zinc, like 200 milligrams a day. And when I started to feel worse, it was, you maybe need to up it to 300 milligrams. And molybdenum, which we know both of those things completely disrupt copper, which is against what the RCP is trying to do. So I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to die. I'm actually going to die if things don't change. The things were just that bad. But the blessing out of that situation was the practitioner recommended that I did the Morley panel. It wasn't called the Morley panel back in the day, or the full Monty panel, but maybe you need to check these minerals. And then I heard Morley Robbins' name for the first time, and I thought, oh, who is this guy? And did a little bit of research, found the magnesium advocacy Facebook group, and just literally plowed myself into researching what it was, and that's when my life changed. That's when the light bulb switched on, and I thought, oh, that's why I haven't been getting better. Because I've been doing every single thing I shouldn't be doing, tenfold, hundredfold.
And I remember on my own journey when I first discovered Morley and minerals and the place that they had in the health, it was the simplicity and the enormity, as Christine would say, but the simplicity of what our bodies actually needed to function that really landed for me. Yeah,
it's incredible. During the training, there is a module called the simplicity and enormity of the RCP. That's my favorite, because that saying really does encapsulate everything that it is. And I just thought it was amazing that it was food-based, and there was rationale, more importantly, behind why you needed to take all these different things, why your body needed these things. And for me, having fatigue, chronic fatigue, ridiculous fatigue, it was energy production that I was drawn to. Like, why can't I produce energy? And the RCP addresses energy production in the mitochondria by feeding it all this good stuff that we need. And it was just incredible to me that you could just get it through food. You didn't have to spend thousands of pounds on these things. And for the first time ever, actually addressing what was going on. Amazing. So back to your earlier question, there were no consultants. This was back in the day. I'm an OG. This was like 7 years ago. Yeah. So I did have a meeting with Morley, which was amazing to talk to the guy himself about what had been happening. And then shortly after that, divine timing, group 1 training was announced, so I thought, oh my God, I've got to do it. And at that time, it wasn't really for me to help other people. I was just really in dire need of helping myself. So, you know, it's amazing the resources that are available now, the manual and the amazing forum, and the Facebook group is evolved, and there's so many resources there. And at that point, there was nothing, you know, so it was a case of just trawling through the mag group, and very confusing, you know, trying to work out what you needed to take and when, and just that paradigm shift from what you were used to doing to this new way of thinking about your health. So that's why I started the training in group 1.
A lot of unlearning and relearning, isn't it, initially?
Yeah, there really is. And I just remember being completely shocked. I was overwhelmed, shocked that, you know, all that good stuff that I thought I was doing, the effort and the time, and I truly believed that I was doing the right thing all that time. And then when you realize, oh, okay, that was the actual reverse of what I should have been doing. Yeah. So
and so, you know, what were you seeing with your own health as you started to put together the root cause protocol, and started to take the supplements and perhaps make the dietary and lifestyle changes, which are huge as well, aren't they? That recognition that stress is what puts us in this state and sets us up for these deficiencies and imbalances. You know, what were you seeing in yourself over time?
Yeah, amazing things, so many things. You know, where I am now compared to where I was 7 years ago is chalk and cheese. You know, it's the journey's been pretty incredible. But I remember the main things that I was facing were I did take a lot of high dose vitamin D. So I joke that I am a hormone D recoverer. I was a hormone D abuser. You know, I was on very high doses, and that completely tanked my potassium levels. As we know, it causes renal potassium wasting, really quite severe heart issues, you know, a lot of heart pounding, skipped beats, couldn't lie on my left side in bed, the heart was just pounding. The anxiety, the brain fog, I just couldn't function in my job roles. I couldn't. Sometimes I'd forget people's names, the days, why I was there. It was just, in all honesty, it was a struggle. Life was a struggle. And I remember even the simple adrenal cocktails, I was just mind blown. For the first time ever, I was taking something and it had a profound, immediate effect. Immediate. You know, my heart just calmed. I could sleep better. I thought, wow, there must be something to this.
Yeah.
The effect was just amazing.
I definitely.
I think you mentioned the emotional aspect as well.
Yeah.
And it was the first time ever. Yeah, big. First time ever that I'd spoken to a practitioner or Morley who had actually suggested, you know, addressing emotional trauma through EFT, emotional freedom technique, or, you know, whatever else you could find. And that was huge change as well, being able to turn off that stress response and activate the parasympathetic nervous system to be able to deal with all the goodies that you're taking into your body. So it was a huge shift, completely different to what I was used to.
And like I will often say to clients, you know, without that work on the emotional and the spiritual aspects, you know, we're plugging up a leaky bucket. You know, we're doing all the nutrition and all these things, but it takes all of it. And I really feel that that's you know, is what's so unique about the RCP and about us as RCPCs. You know, what we offer is that recognition that, you know, the stress of their lives is why they are where they are. So it's, I think it's a profoundly different way of healing is how I feel about the RCP. So tell me, then flash forward a little bit further, you embarked on Morley's course in Group 1. Back then it wasn't the RCP Institute.
Copernican Institute. Copernican Institute, I think it was.
Institute for Mineral Metabolism.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about the course, about the aspects of the course that that you really enjoyed, what you got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, Morley's genius lays in his ability to connect all the research that's ever been done around mineral metabolism in the body in a meaningful way, and relating it to how people are displaying symptoms now. It really is a genius that he's got, and he can break it down in very simple, understandable terms for the layperson that hasn't got a background in health. I'm a researcher and have researched natural alternative health for 25 years, but still the way that Morley puts things together is so relatable, so understandable and profound. So I found the training really enlightening, and it's just fascinating to actually finally understand how the body does work and how energy is created, and why we need that. And the training also built up on the model of how did we all get ill in the first place. Like, I never realized the chains of events that have been put together to create this state, this disease state that a lot of people find themselves in the modern world. And that's the manipulation of the food supply chain, with fortification and the low-fat diets that we've been force-fed, which are obviously low in retinol and bioavailable copper. So it's putting together all those pieces of the jigsaw where you think, that's why this has all happened, and then relating that then to the RCP components. It's just a brilliant course, and I've been on it quite a few times myself, as refreshers, and I'm also a tutor for the newer groups. So this is my third tutor session, for, I think we're on group 15 now, and it's amazing how the course evolves. So Morley is really up to date with his research. I think he spends the first 3 hours every morning researching. The guy's amazing. He really is passionate about it, and that's brought into every new course intake.
Absolutely.
So I'd recommend anyone that's trying to recover their own health, and they've tried everything and nothing's working for them. I would really recommend that they do the training for themselves, to help themselves. And for any other practitioner who aren't seeing the results in their own clinics, with their clients, you'll be amazed with what you learn.
Absolutely. And there is that mix, isn't there, in the course, and you will see this as your role as a tutor now, the people who are coming into the course from every corner of the globe. There is that real mix of practitioner versus, mum, such as I was, who just wanted to help her chronically ill child and her own health. What are you seeing? What sort of people are you seeing before you come in?
Well, interestingly, as the courses have gone forward, I'm seeing a lot more now certified functional medical practitioners and certified nutritionists. So people who we've even had a few GPs, quite a lot of people with medical backgrounds. So people who are already working in the health, I don't like to call it industry, but in the health space, that are just interested in learning what is all this mineral stuff about anyway, and they're really adopting that into their practices and seeing huge shifts in how their clients respond. So yes, there are still people like me that in the beginning I went to help myself. There are still people like that, people who just want to help their friends and their families. But yes, a lot of people who are already working in the health space that are trying to catapult their practices into the future that is mineral balancing.
Absolutely. And often they're the first to admit too, aren't they, that they have no training in this and in minerals, and no understanding of the dynamics of how minerals are working in our bodies. And in a way that puts practitioners on this kind of even playing field with you know, mum and dad who've just come along to do the course to, you know, reap the benefits for their own health. And in that, you can go as deep or as kind of shallow into the research as you want. And I always use that analogy that Morley uses, because I don't have a better one. He says that you don't have to be a mechanic to be able to drive the car. So, you know, mum and dad or whoever it may be can come along and take the course and come away with enough of an understanding to be able to drive the car. Whereas the practitioners, they may, you know, dive a little deeper and work out how the engine actually runs.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. It is very much an even playing field, and it is up to you how far you want to take it. And the resources are there available to you to support you however far you want to go. And I think what is really interesting, and I had to do a lot of tapping on this, which is EFT, a lot of letting go on the fact that people are only as good as their training. You know, so there was a lot of forgiveness, a lot of letting go of, you know, the 20 odd practitioners that I saw up until that point. Because when you are actually in the training with people who you used to go and see to get well, they have no idea, because that's not what's in their training courses. It's, you know, it's been hidden from everyone for a reason, you know, by design. So everybody is really at the same starting point. Yeah, it's interesting to see, you know, the eyes that people have when they start to, oh my God, so that isn't true. And oh, wow, I can't believe I've been recommending that to people for so long. So
Yeah,
yes, there's a big shift for people.
Absolutely. And a lot more unlearning and relearning for practitioners than there was perhaps for somebody like me who, you know, didn't come from the health space initially. So tell us a bit about what you're doing now that you're a root cause protocol consultant. Obviously, you're working with the root cause protocol in tutoring people coming through the course. How else are you using your new skills and not, or not so new skills and knowledge anymore? You've been at it for a while, but what are you doing with yourself?
Yeah, so I have my own RCP consulting business. It's called Grassroots Healing, and I just love being able to help people who are in the same position as me. And to be honest, what drives me is to try and stop people making the same mistakes that I make. If I can make anyone's life a little bit easier than I made mine, and save them all those dollars, and just get them to feeling the best that they possibly can. I love it. So I consult with people all over the world. It's amazing. Technology, Zoom technology. And, you know, I see myself very much as a health educator, and people will come. And if I only see them once, I'm really happy, because it means I've done my job.
Yeah.
And, you know, give them all the information that they need, just to get them on their merry way. A lot of people come knowing, you know, a good deal about the RCP, but they just need a little bit of guidance and a few tweaks, you know, help with interpreting their results, etc. And then they're on their merry way and they're feeling fantastic.
Yeah, and I think, CJ, you know, you have that empathy too of somebody who's walked that path, and that's what a lot of people are looking for in their practitioners now as well, as, you know, that element of I've been there and you know, I understand, and here's how I've done it, and, you know, let's see if we can guide you along the same path.
Yeah. I mean, my approach is low and slow. You know, I'm very cautionary, I would say, and I like people just to feel their way through it. And, you know, we're the majority of people who find the RCP are personality type A's. Morley always says this, and it's true of myself. It's probably true of you, true of all my clients. So it's about guiding people to the path of least resistance. So you want to get better yesterday, of course, but if you,
human nature.
It's human nature, but it's all about taking your time, listening to your body, and, you know, slowly bringing yourself back around. You know, the RCP starts up all these pathways in the body that have been dormant, have been quiet, they've been sleeping for so long. So you really want to ease yourself into that.
Yeah. And I guess probably my final question would be for you, if you could summarise in a sentence, how would you say that taking the training to become an RCPC has changed your life?
I say it's given me control over my own destiny. It's actually given me that, where I'm no longer relying on the knowledge of other people to get me to a place where I'm feeling my best. You know, it's liberation is what it is. It's freedom and it's liberation, and it's natural. I love it. Utilizing Mother Nature, like what could be better than that? It's how things should be, you know.
Absolutely. Freedom and liberation. I love it. I love it. And CJ, you're such a light in the community, and I always enjoy meetings when you're present. You know, you bring so much light, so much knowledge with you as well. And it's such a pleasure just to sit down and just finally hear your story. I guess I've never really had this conversation with you. So thank you so much for sharing with all of us. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely my pleasure. And to anyone that's listening, just don't give up hope. You know, as Morley says, you're not broken and you'll get there. You will get there.
Amen to that. Yeah. Hope. It's hope is vital. We have to keep it, don't we?
Absolutely.
Thank you, CJ.
My pleasure.